crypto space is in such a strange space right now. On the one end, we've got a ton of positive news, a ton of juicy advancements, like companies diving in, people getting helped, and rules and bases being established, like for example in Europe. But then on the opposite side, mostly over in the US, things are just not the best right now. I mean, on the one end, we've got this.
Who wants high interest rates? We have very high interest rates now. It's really clogging up. I mean, it's really causing a big problem. You're going to have a big recession very soon.
Which are basically threats and explanations that the US is not on the best course right now, and that is talking about the major economy. If we're taking it a little bit smaller, oh, that's huge. No, but in all serious, smaller, you'd notice that in the US, they're not doing a good job in terms of crypto regulation. I mean, you guys all know it. Anyway, before I show you guys that video, make sure you press that like button. Just if you've not done it yet, make sure you support the channel a little bit and press that button because you've got nothing to lose, baby. Yeah, saying that felt kind of weird knowing that it's 95% men watching, but
as you noted back in 2018, you noted in your testimony that at the time, the SEC did not view Bitcoin and Ether as securities. Is that still your view?
I think you're referring to when I was at MIT, testimony I gave in front of the this committee in 2019, if I remember. And I was speaking to what the SEC career staff had said.
But is it your view now that that Bitcoin and Ether are not securities?
No, I'm not going to get into any one token, but I think the securities laws are quite clear. If you're raising money from somebody else, and that's something the investing public believes that they anticipate or have a reasonable anticipation of profits based on the efforts of others, that fits within the securities law.
But that was in 2014, and in 2018, the Securities and Exchange Commission has said, regardless of what it might have been in 14, it's now sufficiently decentralized that we'll consider it not a security.
I'm asking you, sitting in your chair now, to make an assessment under the laws as exist. Is Ether a commodity or a security?
Without speaking to anyone.
I know you've repeatedly said you're not going to speak to one, except you've spoken to one, Bitcoin. So I'm asking you to speak to a second one, the second largest market cap here.
And speaking to the tokens, there's 10 to 12,000. If there's a group of entrepreneurs in the
I'm asking
middle,
about one.
The public is anticipating a profit based on the...
I'm asking you a specific question, Chair Gensler. I said this in private. This should be no shock to you. I'm asking this question. Is Ether a commodity or a security?
And again, it depends on the facts and the law, and if there's a group of individuals...
I'm asking you about the facts and the law sitting in your seats and the judgment you are making.
And so, Mr. Chair, I think you would not want me to prejudge because I'm also...
But you have prejudged on this. You've taken 50 enforcement actions. We're finding out as we go, as you file suit, as people get Wells notices on what is a security in your view, in your agency's view. I'm asking you a very simple question about the second largest digital asset.
I, however, have said this before and I'll say it again. We have to pay and keep paying close attention to what's happening on these other frontiers. I mean, the BRICS New Development Bank now offers loans in local currencies instead of the US dollars. And then the guys over in Zimbabwe coming in to create their own new digital currency, which is going to be backed by gold. Pretty peculiar. The UAE here, wow, is also to take another step forward, proposing a bill to create a new decentralized economy for its free zone with 100% tax exemptions. And for the most part, I think people are just noticing, and the major spearheads, the leaders, whatever you want to call it, they also know to take their money out of the US. Again, I'm not saying, and I'm not going to be the guy to say the US is doomed or the US dollar is doomed. I'm just saying many things are pointing towards the fact that the US dollar's reign might be over, or at least is being in a more critical spot than it's been for most of its history. And even Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, which is the world's largest asset manager with over $10 trillion in assets, sold another 7% of his own stock this week. This is one of his biggest stock sales after COVID. His last biggest stock sale was right before the COVID crash. Again, fun little fact people know. by now that, guys at the top know something. I mean, we've seen many of these spearheads or these regulators, people in important positions sell right before some major crashes of sorts. I mean, right now, the crypto space is not in the best of positions. Bitcoin at 27.6 thousand, Ethereum at 1,862, XRP at 46.3 cents. But it's not that bad. Again, it's not perfect, but it's not that bad. Especially if you consider all the different money-making opportunities that have been presented themselves because of this declining market. Here's, for example, a very interesting little piece. A total of 1.4 million Frax shares, to $12 million, has been unlocked recently. Pay attention to these addresses. Once they transfer FXS to exchanges for selling, you can short FXS to make money. What these guys have basically done for a little while is track different wallets, and whenever they apparently send FXS, apparently after some major unlocks, transfers to Binance come on in and the price starts to dip. And as you guys probably know, I invest in a lot of coins before they hit the market. And so I know a thing or two about these private sales that they're talking about right here. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of these guys get their coins at a valuation right now, which is so significantly higher than they ever paid for it. Let's say they put $100,000 in and now got $25 million in valuation. So here, another little deposit of $2.5 million came in. A lot of these guys just sell because they've made their money so many times over, they don't need more gains. So whenever these unlocks come around, you are always wary. It doesn't mean it's always bad, but here is a pretty cool and interesting analysis, so we pay close attention to it. It's mostly because there's not that much liquidity. So if all this FXS gets deposited, then usually the price drops, is what he's trying to say. And again, guys, we just keep paying close attention to what some of these whales are doing, as they seem to know more about the markets than we do. I mean, it's quite logical if you think about it. For the most part, they control it. Here it says 3 whales, probably the same person though, are long Ethereum and wrap Bitcoin on the DeFi protocols. They deposited ETH, BTC into DeFi and borrowed stablecoins, then transferred stablecoins to Binance to buy ETH and Bitcoin. We're talking a couple tens of millions of dollars, and a little bit before that, a smart money whale, or just somebody who always buys Ethereum at extremely good prices, is again going long on Ethereum. This was yesterday. Again, guys, I keep telling you, watch these smart wallets. All withdrew all assets from FTX before FTX suspended withdrawals. This wallet right here, these guys, this smart man, took his money out of FTX just before things went down. Again, pay close attention to what these whales do, not what they say. By the way, if you're wondering why the markets are going down, I got the video, and I wanted to start this video out that way, but I felt it's too cliche because I've done it too many times. But
about the people investing in this, there are a lot of people who have looked at your IPO who have told me, you know what, I'm not sure that this is a smart investment. Our own Jim Cramer yesterday said, I'm not sure that Tesla has a business plan that's going to work. It's not a smart investment. What do you say to the skeptics who look at where Tesla is, the money that you're raising, and they say, you know what, they've got a nice roadster, but they don't have a good business plan?
Well, I think, Jim, I'd say, yeah, sure, Jim, we're no Bear Stearns, but I think we're going to do okay. Jim, I think, recommended Bear Stearns and Lehman and other things. So, frankly, he's a contraindicator.
So yeah, it's just a fun little jab at Jim Cramer, who is the host of Mad Money on CNBC. And very often when he tells you to do something, it's very much wrong, which is why there's this thing which is called the inverse Cramer, and even Elon Musk knows about it, I guess. Actually, matter of fact, he knew about it before all of us. And that's because ever so short ago, a couple days ago, he said, we're getting barely near oversold. We're almost there, which is obviously a little jab that the markets are about to turn back around. And yeah, he basically screwed us all with that, as him saying we're basically near the bottom is not what you want to hear. On a complete side note, I saw this article, thought it was pretty interesting. Ripple plans to help 3.7 billion people. Here's how. To be honest, I'm not 1,000% sure where exactly they got the number from. It's probably somewhere on this website or within one of these little documents. I did notice on their website, they indeed explain a lot about the benefits of the XRP Ledger. The XRP Ledger is the world's first major global carbon neutral blockchain, enabling sustainable crypto solutions, empowering more efficient, scalable, and dynamic carbon markets. But for the most part, the article talks about the fact they plan to help over 3.7 billion people who are either unbanked or underbanked around the world, which was released in some sort of tweet on Earth Day, but I can't necessarily see it on the website. Anyway, today will be again another pivotal moment where our monthly does not close just quite yet, no, but our weekly does. And indeed, it has actually taken the Bitcoin price right back down from the juicy heights at which it was standing. Not too juicy, and it's unfortunate, but sometimes this is necessary to to get to greatness, you know? I've also seen somebody write this out, the fact that over on the S&P, we right now are at a really interesting point. How do you recognize this? Well, you recognize this from this right here. The Wall Street cheat sheet for psychology of a market cycle, that you're in that like complacency type of stage where you don't really expect things to crash hard, but they might for sure be coming. I don't think Bitcoin / crypto is in that same position right now, but a lot of the bullish momentum has been taken out with this very recent move. I'll talk about it a little bit more tomorrow if I have the time. But you can see, right, we had our first crazy positive weekly close. Right now we've got a weekly close again below this crucial barrier, taking away a lot of the position that we gained. In terms of Bitcoin dominance, indeed it is turning back around. I'm not sure if this will be sustained, as you know, if Bitcoin actually moves down, altcoins as of this one will probably actually move down even more, giving Bitcoin its dominance back, potentially giving that a little bit of leeway. The same thing applies for Ethereum. We had ourselves the breakout. We actually hit ourselves a confirming candle, but stepped right the frick back down, which is quite a peculiar move. Right now, we're standing at a crucial support for Ethereum. You can see it's the top of the previous triangle, which is interesting to watch. And with regards to the pattern I've been telling you guys about for a couple of weeks right now, yeah, it's still into place. You know, our ascending broadening wedge is indeed still forming. Can't really tell you guys more about it except for the fact that it indeed was pretty correct. But still, honestly, guys, I'm not too worried about this crypto space. I'll just keep up the buying like I'm always doing, and that's the most important part. But yeah, that was it for today's video. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you press that like button and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys again in another one, hopefully tomorrow.